utakufa. Do what you want. Sometimes you are misleading this nation. Naongea kama mtume, chief. Uchumi ni baya na mnatumia hizo pesa vile mnataka. Mnaongezea uchumi huko, mnaongezea pesa huko, mnaongezea vitu huko. Na mtu akiwaambia mnafuga kanisa, si muje mfuge. Si mfuge. Mfuge, stupid. Nikuta nikihubiri, nitaongea na nitasema what is right, I will speak that. I swear before God. Some of you guys, you are misleading this nation. Na chuma kiko jikoni. Chuma kiko jikoni. Naongea kama mtume. Huyo gai mwadhakanake ni yako mtengura. Huyu Mungu mnacheza naye atawatoa kwa jiko. It is too much. Muongeze nyinyi wenyewe zenyu huku mnatuongezea pesa zingine.
If Kenya Kwanza will continue responding to the members of clergy who are commenting on our governance situation, then they should prepare for a big clash. But then what then should worry any other person that has been given that job is whether the clergy are getting it wrong. Are they doing propaganda, or they're saying things that resonate with Kenyans? That is Pastor Nganga telling Kenya Kwanza about wastage. Do you remember even Yego in that interview? There is one thing he pointed out, and he said that there is a problem in this country known as wastage. So in this podcast, we are going to look at the intrigues behind the latest rift between members of the clergy and the ruling coalition. I want us to look at that deeply. In our next bit, we are going to look at Ole Sapit and Ichung'wa. But before that, we had our project for October to take Edwin Mwiti Mwenda. I've been corrected, but that name is Mwenda, is not Mwendwa. Mwenda is middle name, Mwendwa is Come, I understand. So this boy got a mini grade of C+. He was to be admitted in, he got the calling letter to join Kirinyaga University to take electrical engineering with computing, a degree, but he has not yet reported because of financial constraints. So I'm glad that we received direct support. One person is going to offset the high school bill that remained. So on our beat, the other challenge, the 100 shillings challenge we are doing, is to help raise what can go into accommodation, other requirements needed, and partly what will remain will go into the first term, first semester. In university there is no term, it's semester. So that is why I'm reaching out to you that we take this boy to school on Friday. So you can donate. In cash we still have to Friday, but we will close on Thursday night, so still have at Friday. Kindly, what you can get, we are doing 100 shillings challenge, and I'm glad that we're responding, and this will be a reality. I really support Ole Sapit. In fact, I do believe that Ole Sapit acted Chebukati's script with the diplomats in Bomas of Kenya to stage the coup in the last general election. However, he seems to be making a lot of sense in this soundbite.
Because the promises were so heavy that everything is sorted out. So it is now moment to face the truth. Just come out and tell Kenyans, the promises we made are unrealistic. Now let's go to prioritization. This is our priority number 1. Priority number 2, put aside until we get enough, then we can now go to priority number 2. But if we try to push, to achieve what we promised, and we all know that we have nothing to deliver the promises, then you are going to break everybody's back. You will even break your back, struggling to make happen what you know it can't happen.
Now, that soundbite has irritated Kenya Kwanza. And yesterday, if you listen to what he's saying, he's just saying, just come out. And he's not saying it for the first time, by the way. In terms of the way he criticizes government on the governance loopholes, he's been very consistent that just tell Kenyans the truth. Stop lying and stop promising more while you know it is not going to be achieved. That is what Ole Sapit has been saying. Now, when you listen keenly to that, you may wonder, because immediately Ichung'wa was speaking somewhere and said that Ole Sapit criticized the Matusi. And get it.
Viongozi wa kanisa wakitukosoa.
Let's be fair. If you listen to what Ole Sapit is saying, is there Matusi? Now you then realize that the weapon that government side have picked to counter the emerging governance criticism from the members of clergy is by profiling them. What is happening is Ichung'wa is clearly profiling Ole Sapit and is using the wrong profile, because any other person who followed last general election know very well that Ole Sapit supported William Samoei Ruto and was amongst members of the clergy that ensured that Chebukati announced the results. But Ichung'wa and the team cannot just understand how people they deem to be supporting them are now turning against them. Because when an UDA supporter sees Ole Sapit criticizing government, it was like, this guy should be supporting us. And then they have picked the tool to profile these fellows, which I don't think is the right one. However, it is very healthy for the church not to go to bed with the state. Last year, I did an analysis. I think that was second month after William Ruto was the Kenya Kwanza administration was sworn in. And I said, the same way, for those who are members of the board, you will remember, the same way that the church campaigned for William Ruto and they believe that Kenya Kwanza administration was a spiritual kingdom reigning and installing a political kingdom, they should not stop but will also continue to put the government on check. I said it. But 1 year later, all those who campaigned, whose pulpits they gave, all those who gave microphones to Kenya Kwanza team to spit venom against Uhuru Kenyatta, they stopped asking William Ruto question. But let me tell you, I am not shocked, and I'm not saying that it's wrong. Do you know there is something happening in this country? Despite of the clamor by the church for inclusivity on the bipartisan talks, do you know that it is only the church that have been left out? And today, I think the public participation is in Asia, and the church is yet to appear before the Bomas team. They did not appear. Why? The corridors have it that the government side have been trying by all means to block the involvement of the members of clergy. Have you seen Ole Sapit before that committee? No. Have you seen the Anglican, the Catholic team before? No. Have you seen the church, the clergy before the bipartisan talks team? No. But remember that some of these members of the clergy have been poking holes on our governance to date. So the reason why they've been literally blocked is because some of, they know that they did not go to bed, especially the mainstream churches. They did not go to bed with the state. So this bad blood is there, because they are also seeing that they've been left out. But that is not exclusive. I just want to tell you I want to paint for you the picture behind Kenya Kwanza. Why Kenya Kwanza wants church to stay away. It is simple. It is their making. It is by design. They want the church to stay away. But I like that friction, because whenever there is that friction, people will lose the leaning aspect and church will get its neutrality. William Ruto is on record while speaking in the US. I think he was saying that, put me on toes so that I deliver. Opposition is already in talks. So there seems to be another environment of ceasefire. So who's going to talk? And this is the reason. To Kenya Kwanza, the clergy is a medium being framed for one-way messaging. They do not want a situation where there is a two-way, where what the administration would actually want is a situation where they only get the opportunity, the church only speaks. The only people speaking in church are those politicians, one way. And just to tell you, I want to give an example this Sunday. This Sunday, Mudavadi was speaking somewhere in Kwale. The very Sunday, William Ruto was here in Langata, and Rigathi Gachagua was in Meru. I don't know where Wetangula was. I think it might have been in Bungoma or somewhere. So, all this, they were still speaking politics, and it was one way. Now, a situation where they are speaking, and you know they want the rural, when they speak in the the far end counties, there's no way. But they don't want the church because it is going to create a two-way messaging environment where what is said, there is also another members of the clergy countering. It is just being tooled for what happened in the last general election. It was used, it was a tool for political mobilization. And Kenya Kwanza will want it to remain at that. Political mobilization and the medium of messaging. Because those in power believe media is compromised. There is something that Ruto fears most. A spark that can emerge between opposition and the church. That spark, it thrives in something called foreign backing. And when the church and opposition teams up, I'm telling you, it has never walked in the path. It cannot be easy for anyone if the church and opposition work together. So that is why the government do not want to bring church on table. And they would not want to hear of a situation where what opposition is saying is the same as what church is saying. And that is why, as a new team, must be very careful. The bipartisan talks outcome should not be framed in a manner that they are boxed in government. Because government will want that, and look at Uhuru Kenyatta. When Uhuru Kenyatta realized Ruto had taken the church, what did Uhuru Kenyatta do? Took Raila. And some few reasons why there could be no U-turns on that bipartisan talks is because Ruto had snatched the church. And so, government had to go for Kenya National Trade Union and the church. Now that is what Ruto has done. He took trade unions. I think that far point is not even, we don't have vibrant trade unions. What we have are just briefcase entities to lobby for their self-interest. So now, it is very clear that the administration will not want a situation where opposition and church are together, and clergy are together. And that is why they are not bringing clergy on table, and they are giving them less. Wait, I'm really looking at how much the organization would be, and there is something that will come from there. The other third aspect is Kenya Kwanza is wants the clergy to be at the periphery because that collapsed evangelical MOU. You know, there was an MOU that was signed between churches that supported William Ruto, and that if I form government, going to give you, they weren't supposed to get some cabinet slots. They were supposed to, I don't know, import vehicles on free. There were some very ridiculous provisions in that MOU. To date, that MOU was never obeyed, and of course, it had to be that way. In politics, if they just thought that William Ruto was giving the money during campaigns for free, no, it was for the vote. So, because of that collapsed MOU, they will not want to start engaging the church now. But wait, some 1 year to next 2026 upper, we will start seeing formations, people now starting to organize themselves and bringing this part here, that there. Now, lastly, I believe what is happening at Ezekiel Libero's place is irritating members of the clergy, and there is a possibility that the mainstream and evangelicals and some section of evangelicals have started coming together. I understand, by the way, that Ezekiel was subdued, that nowadays he fears that he cannot speak. You know, you remember before the whole arrest and those cases came, he used to speak he used to criticize government on what government is doing right and what government is doing wrong. Nowadays he can't do that because spies are planted all over. Someone was telling me that akiongea tu, yani the moment when afix akiongea toka like mimi najua siwezi ongea sana kwa sababu hapo kuna makameras, kuna watu wametumwa record wapatie watu wa serikali na mimi sitaki kuongea. So that is something, and that is why you see the likes of Generali Nganga is talking rehash. Thank you guys, and yeah, that is my take. I want to read the feedback of that podcast. We are continuing to make sure that we take that boy to school, so kindly help us on that end.